Welcome back, Attack. I'm Skylant, and today we're going to be playing some Awesomenauts. This gameplay is actually pulled from my stream, twitch.tv/Skylant, and I got to play as the 3 new characters that have been introduced with this expansion. But don't worry, it's not just the characters that have been, I guess, added to the game. Like, there's more to the game. But real quick, I want to say, the game right now, currently, as of this weekend, is 75% off, plus it is a free weekend. So if you're unsure if you want to buy it or not, looking from the gameplay, go play yourself, man, and join us, man. Join us on the stream, join us in the game, whatever. Come and play the game. It's free. Why not? It's a pretty cool game. Now, the gameplay in the background is probably not going to be the best, most exemplary combat for these characters. I'm very new at the game, but I will explain some of the core concepts of Awesomenauts as well. I guess you can treat this like kind of like a first impression for Awesomenauts, but we are going to be talking about the expansion. Now, Awesomenauts is basically a 2D platforming MOBA, okay? Luckily, though, it's made in mind with PC gamers, okay? So it does utilize the mouse, which is so awesome. You know, a lot of these platforming games don't utilize mouse properly, okay? So, yeah. It does use mouse. There are some very aimed mechanics in this game. There are like physics-based interactions with like knockbacks and stuff like that. And overall, the game feel is pretty nice. It's definitely pretty good. So, let's talk about this expansion, though. Now, the expansion, apparently, it's called OverDrive, okay? It's Awesomenauts OverDrive. It's a new expansion for Awesomenauts that's going to be released early 2016, which is now, and includes a massive overhaul for the matchmaking system and updates to apparently the core game mechanics. I don't know the difference, what it was, what it is now. All I can say is, now, my first impressions, I had a good time. Now, in addition to these features, Awesomenauts OverDrive will add 3 technologically advanced characters to the playable roster. And I played these guys, and they're all each individually very interesting and pretty cool. Now, this brings visual improvements to various aspects of the game, apparently, including a complete visual rework of the fan favorite Sheriff Lone Star. Yeah, so the game, it did actually look pretty good. I didn't know it got a new visual overhaul, but I guess with the expansion, there you go, guys. Now, the premium characters can be pre-ordered today, or actually, I'm just reading off the website, but you can just get it now, guys. You can just buy it now. This is a little bit ago. Now, here's the new characters, okay? So, Professor Milton Ulip. This dude, he was weird. He was really hard to use, too. He's a defense kind of character, from what I can tell. Now, as a scientist, Professor Milton Ulip loves to create wondrous inventions and contraptions like the dog aura reader, nightmare to VHS recorder, the random number phone, cereal to milk ratio calculator, and an actual time machine. Yeah, so one day after combining the time machine into some comfy slippers, he teleported to the Mesozoic era and got stuck with the dinosaurs after losing one of his teleportation slippers. Yeah, so that's what happened. He spent years to craft a new slipper to travel forward in time to return to his beloved granddaughter, Ayla. He joined the Awesomenauts team to finally spend some quality time with her and eat some over-engineered pancakes. So that's his story. He definitely comes across as a really kooky and wacky guy. And more than any other character that I played in Awesomenauts, he's got the gift of gab. Like, he will just sit there and talk and says a lot of jokes. Really a very funny guy. Now, his abilities, though, are pretty cool. He summons, like, these holographic dinosaurs, like little raptors, and they move down the lane. They're timed, and they don't attack turrets, and they don't sit there and aggro on anything. They just kind of pass through it. So it's really more like a damage over time thing. He uses a wrench. He's a melee, AoE melee. He's really weak, really susceptible to damage. So basically, play him defensively. You use your raptors defensively, and he has an ability called, it's like staring gaze or something. You basically, you look at somebody and you hit a button. It's an aimed projectile, really, is how it works. Kind of like a ray. You grab somebody, but it does stun you at the same time. So what you want to do is you summon your dinos, and then there's like a 1-second delay before you can actually use the ability, so people can kind of see it coming. There's a little bit of counterplay, and then you grab them, and the dinos kind of chomp on them. However, the dinos don't aggro, so they kind of move through them, and all in all, like, you really aren't going to just be able to jump on people and just summon raptors and eat them ravenously. That's not going to happen. Overall, Professor Milton Ulip here is a very defensive-oriented character, at least in my opinion, that's what it seemed like. Now, the next person, this guy was weird. Now, he was really, really hard to use. I think I do like these characters. I don't know if there's more character. I haven't played every character in Awesomenauts, but these new characters definitely feel like there's like some like tactics and strategy and like some thought that goes into playing them. Like, they're not entirely easy, though there is one that's probably the easiest, but this one, Chucho, Croc, whatever, Chucho, this guy's really hard, okay? So Chucho comes from a rich, if slightly shady family called the Croc. Now let's face facts here. They may have achieved fame and fortune on Callius by hunting down the biggest criminals in the galaxy, maybe, but they're just as bad themselves. But hey, it takes a crook to catch a crook, right? So Chucho has taken up the family mantle of being a badass bounty hunter. This guy definitely comes across as that. Yeah, I could say that. Which wouldn't be so awkward if he didn't have the world's largest lisp. Yeah, his accent is definitely very silly. oh well, no time for that, because the self-styled Time Croc is on the hunt for an Awesomenaut who has been illegally traveling through time. And his inventions, and in his inventory, rests a suspicious, smelly time-traveling slipper that might lead him to an altogether deadly confrontation with his unsuspecting bounty. So it looks like the sort of lore is kind of mixed up between Chucho as well as Professor Milton. Very interesting. Now, Chucho, I really liked it. He kind of sometimes like hums or sings. He's like, doop, 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 doop. I don't know. He just seems really kind of like childish and silly. I mean, for someone who's so like, I don't know, edgy. But what's really interesting about him is he's kind of a stance dancer, okay? So he can jump onto like his little hover bike, and that thing does a lot of damage with potentially piercing bullets. He can clear waves pretty hardcore, and he can fly too. He can hover, so it's actually pretty easy to escape people. However, here's the thing. When you're on your hover vehicle, you can't actually back paddle, and you can only shoot forwards. So it's like when you play him, when you control him, you definitely feel like you're controlling a vehicle. However, you can jump off at any time. You have a sticky grenade, which is actually pretty fun if you can actually land that on somebody. And the way to play this guy, like to actually play him, I guess I would imagine like a pro player would play him, is jumping on and off the hover bike and using all of the abilities at your arsenal. You have your twin pistols, you jump onto the hover bike, after you throw a sticky grenade, of course, and then you jump on your hover bike and do the big deeps. Now, this guy can do a lot of damage. He definitely is he can be very defensive, or he can do a huge amount of damage if you just let him sit on an enemy turret. Absolutely amazing. And with piercing bullets, you can just shred lanes entirely. So yeah, absolutely. I found I did best with him defensively, and then whenever my teammates, did ganks or performed well enough to where I could actually move in place to actually do some damage, to kind of flank, get on them turrets, I could just spam and just do so much damage to the turrets. Now, I don't know if other characters do that better, more safely as well, because Chucho, if you mistime your dash, because he does have a dash on the hover bike instead of the sticky grenade, where the sticky grenade ability would be, then yeah, you can get screwed. So if you get tethered, which happened to me a lot, I would get tethered or stunned or silenced right as soon as I would use my dash, and then you're dead. You're basically dead. However, you can hover upwards. So since this is a platformer and moving up and down is very important, you potentially can escape depending on the map and what's going on and how the situation is unfolding. You might be able to just hold up or space and get the hell out of dodge, which is pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. He's got some interesting. Oh yeah. I need to mention something. When you're on the bike, you actually can't aim up and down. You don't aim with the mouse. So that's one more thing. That's why he's kind of suited either for full defense and then full offense. It's kind of hard to be flexible. You gotta definitely think ahead whenever you're positioning with this guy, which makes me really think of like an ADC would be like in a MOBA. And let's talk about probably my personal favorite here, which is Jimmy and the Lux 5000. I think Jimmy is like this little kid, like he's like a toddler basically. And apparently he kind of found himself in this giant death machine. I love the design of this, I really do. Now let's read his lore. Jimmy, Amy, and the Lux 5000, Titletron, are a mighty team. They have won numerous fights in the Robo-Brawls, held in many arenas and slums of Circuit City on Palius. The twins love to crush enemies and cause mayhem with the Toddletron. Oh, so there's two, wait, twins? What? Okay, and Toddletron metal wrecking balls, which are basically two big rattles from their perspective. I guess that's what they think. Little kids think it's just, oh, it's a toy, it's so fun. After each one fight, Jimmy and Amy share a bottle of the finest Bovinian milk and watch cartoons before nap time. Being big fans of the Awesomenauts, they skipped the seasonal Diaper League tournaments and joined the team for some grown-up fights. So yeah, these guys like constantly they're just like it's like a little baby as a character, which is kind of cute actually. Especially for how menacing and big this character is. Now this like skull suit of armor with these giant wrecking balls for hands is fun. It's just pure fun, okay? So the abilities, you have a dash. This dash is actually really cool. You can jump while dashing. But what's really fun about it is whenever you hit somebody, it knocks them back, okay? And you can go pretty far, pretty fast with this thing. So you can flank really easy with it. That's kind of how you're supposed to play him. You jump up or you come out of like, from hiding behind somebody and you dash into them, right? Pushing them into your towers and it pushes them back. Now, you can also use this defensively. So if somebody's charging up an attack, you can actually charge at them, hit them, cancel your charge, and run away. And that's going to knock them back, and then their attack is going to miss or whatever. So I had to do that a couple of times to save my teammates. But generally, he's very tanky, and every third attack with your basic attack is actually going to be an AoE attack. That I think it adds a shield, a little bit of a shield. But you have to get that third attack on there. But it does do an AoE explosion kind of thing going on. Now, there's also missiles. The missiles are pretty interesting. This is sort of like your zoning tool. It's your defensive tool. It's what you can also do during team fights to kind of, just add a little bit of more DPS. And overall, it was actually really hard to aim. Now, if you're really close to them, maybe not, but the travel time is slow. You do shoot a lot of them, but overall, Jimmy, even though this is probably the easiest character out of the newest 3, still has definitely some complexities that you need to master. And I just want to say that. I don't know the whole cast and crew of Awesomenauts, but it seems like these characters at least have either strategy, tactics, or mechanics that you need to master. And with Chucho, probably all 3. Like, he's a pretty hard character. I like Jimmy, though. Jimmy was pretty intuitive for me. And I have to say, guys, for those who are kind of weary of even just trying out Awesomenauts like you, I don't like MOBAs, man. They're pretty toxic. Dude, Awesomenauts is actually pretty chill. I mean, it's pretty intuitive. It's pretty easy to get into. But I do want to say for those who also are kind of competitive minded, yeah, the game does have like sort of a skill-based like system. Like it is a hard game. Like it's a MOBA. Like there's things you gotta research and learn. There is a shop with building up different abilities or different passives, whatnot. You know, there are towers, there are minions. You got to know the different power-ups, the different map layouts. Like there is a game to be played here. It's not just stupid fun, though it can absolutely be just stupid fun if you want it to be. I'm just saying it's a game that's kind of stuck in the middle. I can see why some people might hate it, might love it, but I just want to say for those who don't know if they love it or hate it yet, go try it out for free and go find out at least. That's what I have to say. Now, the expansion was pretty cool. These characters were really, really fun. Like I said, my favorite was Jimmy, my second favorite was Chucho, and then my third favorite was Professor Milton, because personally, I don't quite like a defensive playstyle, but for those who do, he's actually really, really cool. Anyways, that's Awesomenauts, new expansion for Overdrive. I believe I covered everything. Oh, free character. Wait, what is this at the bottom? Free character. Ix the Interloper is going to be a free character, and we have the Starstorm map. Okay, I think, and new visuals. Okay, so that guy got updated. And that's it. That's everything that we have here. That's the Overdrive. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. Hopefully you joined by a beautiful voice. If you do or did, you can go to my personal channel, Skylink Games, or check out my stream. Actually, the gameplay was taken from my stream, and I'm probably going to be streaming all weekend. So if you want to join us, it's a free weekend. Go to twitch.tv/Skylink. Let's go have some fun. Or like and subscribe here to Attack Gaming. I'm always here, always having fun. And hopefully, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, Attack, and today we're going to be talking about 2016's best MMORPGs. These are going to be the new MMO games that we get to experience, at least in the West. Yeah, some of these games are going to be localized titles, but for the most part, these are going to be entirely new MMOs, so get hyped for that, and these are going to be the games that we are almost certain will actually launch in 2016. But with that in mind, let's go ahead, jump right into it, starting at number 10.